Welcome. Today we're going to talk about solving multivariable equations. In other words, we're going to do some abstract solutions where you don't get a numerical answer. For instance, let's take this equation of a variable s times a variable t equals a negative q times r times p. Okay, and let's say we want to solve this. We want to solve for q. Well, just like solving a normal equation, what we want to do is we want to eventually isolate the variable we want to solve for, and then we'll have everything onto the other side. I prefer that I solve or keep the variable I'm isolating on the left side. So the first thing I would do with this expression is I'm going to swap them. I'm going to add the q over this whole term. I'm going to add QRP. So I'm going to add QRP to both sides, which is perfectly fine. That's going to give me a ST plus QRP equals 0. Now remember, there's always a 0 left if you add or bring everything over to one side. Unless you divide it over, then there would be a 1 left. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to minus the ST from both sides. So minus the ST, minus the ST. I'm going to have a QRP equals a negative ST. And then I'm going to, now I could divide by R and then divide by P, or just remember that I can think of R and P as a single thing, and I can divide both sides by RP. So divide by RP, divide by RP, and I get Q is equal to a negative ST over RP. Now also remember the negative symbol doesn't matter if it's in front of the numerator or in front of the denominator or out in front of the fraction. So that doesn't really matter. Let's do another example really quickly, because I want to make sure we didn't have any addition or subtraction really in there. Let's say I had t equals a times r minus u minus s, and we want to solve for r again, or solve for r. That's this variable here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first move these over. I'm actually going to leave the r on the right side to let you know that it is all right to keep the r on the right side. You don't have to move it to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first add u and add s to both sides. I'm going to do it in one step. So I'm going to add u, add s, I'm going to add u, and I'm going to add s. That leaves me a t plus u plus s equals the a times the r, because those cancel. Now again, the order of these three really don't matter. You could actually have it as u plus t plus s, or s plus u plus t, because of the commutative property. We really don't care about the order of those additions. Last, I'm going to divide both sides by a, because I was solving for r. Don't forget which one we're solving for. So I divide by a, and I find out that now when I write my answer down, I'm going to move the r to the left side. I'm just going to say that r is equal to, and then I'm going to write down the t plus u plus s over a. One more very quickly, something that involves a square root. Let's say I had a equals x minus b squared times c times d. And I want to solve for b. Okay, b is being squared, so at some point I have to undo this squared, which is going to take a square root. But we'll get to that into a minute. The first thing we always want to do is get the term that has the b by itself. So I need to remove this x. Now again, I don't like negatives in front of the variable I'm trying to isolate. So what I would probably do is I would add b squared cd to both sides. And at the same time, I'm going to minus a from both sides. So what I'm going to do is minus a, and I'm going to add add a b squared CD, and I'm going to add a b squared, not a c squared, a b squared CD. So again, what's going to happen is I'm actually moving that over to the left side of a b squared c times d equals x minus this a. Now I'm going to divide both sides by this CD that I don't want by the b squared, both sides by CD. So CD, CD, those are going to cancel. That gives me a b squared equals x minus a over CD. And then again, I'm solving for b, so I'm not solving for b squared. I want to get rid of this squared. So I'm going to square root both sides. Take a square root, take a square root. I get b equals the square root of x minus a over CD. And that's basically solving abstract equations or equations in terms of other variables where we don't get a numerical answer, but we get a formula in terms of other variables. Have a good day.